Hello dear viewer of SSBC Powerhouse with Akuch Maker. Today we are crossing to the National Communication Authority, which is the regulatory authority in the country. And so today we are hosting the Director General of NCA, Napoleon Adok Gai. But first, before we start our interview, let's take a look briefly at what NCA is and what they're doing. So National Communication Authority is the ICT and Telecommunication Regulatory Authority, whose function is to regulate all communications, enforce the government's policies in the areas of communication and controls, and inspect and supervise all communication activities in the country. Since Napoleon Adok Gai took over the institution in 2020, he introduced the slogans of Connecting South Sudan, which aims at improving government delivery and management of service with the aims of rural connectivity. Projects which have yielded significant fruits, like the opening of various networks, towers in remote areas across the country. NCA has established partnership with international organizations such as the revitalization of the country's membership in the UN's International Telecommunication Unions and the East African, among others. So now let's take a look at what the Director General has to say towards the roles of National Communication Authority before and during elections, seeing it is election time in the country. In 2022, during the town hall conference, you talked about the top-level domain on how it would enhance effective communication among individuals and government institutions. However, we have seen incidents where people prefer to buy co.ss instead of com.ss, which has created hesitance among the general public. How is supposed to be adopted and embraced by everyone who is digital literate?
We use the term top-level domains. I would want to sensitize the viewers first. What does that mean? Which when our country became independent, there are certain parameters that are assigned to an independent states. Since we are in the 21st century, there are certain codes that were given to our country. Among those codes, it includes the short code for our country, known as SSD, which you see today under the cars, the number plate, but mainly should be in your passport. That's the short name for South Sudan. Then, of course, you have the telecommunication code, which is a +211, which again is an international code for access call to our country, for international gateway. Then for the internet, we have a code known as .ss. Now .ss is the top level domain because the domains of the internet, they are structured in a way that each country has its domain assigned to it directly. It doesn't have to be mandatory for everybody to be on it, but it is usually good when country want to enhance its identity. So all websites that are in that country or referent to that country would have a ending with the .ss. This .ss is structured again into different level. This website, known as the country top level domain, is structured in different levels. It's structured into government branches and commercial branches. Commercial is the one which is .co or .com. And also charities, if you want to have a branch for doing NGOs, it will become .org. For academic, you will have a section which is would end with the AC or EDU for the section. So these are usually known as the top level domains for each country. So the .ss is our meeting point. Then we structure it down. So for it to be used, it required the country to have an infrastructure. What do I mean by an infrastructure in the ICT term? Each country, an internet is a connectivity between one computer to the other, and that they can talk remotely. And when more computers are interconnected, so it becomes intranet. So there has to be somewhere where those computers are kept so that they operate 24/7, so that at midnight, should you decide to access a website, then you can access that. So that structure was not in our place. We don't have a national data center. where all our digital material are kept, including those websites for the government. That is why the uptake of either .co.ss or .com.ss, these were just abbreviation. We did expansion. In the initial, we had put it sounded cumbersome, .com. But the board of directors of NCA, after we realized that the 3-letter before the 2-letter was cumbersome, so we shortened it to become .co, for commercial. Otherwise, it is really insignificant. It doesn't affect the uptake. I am pleased to tell you that since we engage in sensitization and the infrastructure improving the country, quite a number of government institutions have taken up .ss and other commercial. So I would use your platform to appeal to all businesses in South Sudan, in order for us to promote our country, need to take up a local domain name, which is really very cheap to use.
Many South Sudanese are using social media platform to ruin other people's lives. You would go live anytime you want to, talk whatever you have in your mind, since especially Facebook, when it asks you what is on your mind. Just wake up and you feel like so and so to yesterday has hit on my back, so today let me do this. So what is NCA doing towards the safety of the citizens, whereby they can be enjoying digital technology without fear of harassment in the country?
Facebook is owned by Meta, an American company registered in California, mainly for connecting people. We as a regulator, we welcome those technologies, but we provide guidelines on regulations up to certain extents. What happened is that in our country, because of lack of infrastructure, the Facebook themselves, they are not here. We don't have the Facebook here. What you are accessing is you are connecting to remote countries to access Facebook, but there are no Facebook in our country. We are engaging with Facebook because what it is done is that in other countries that have good ICT infrastructures, Facebook bring the servers in your country, and they agree with you something called community standard. A community standard, member states sit with Facebook and agree with Facebook. We say, these are our standards. We don't want dead bodies on our platform. We don't want this hate speech. Even Facebook agree with us on those things. So we've been engaging Facebook to say that, listen, your technology, as much as we promote it, it is good for giving us platform to share. It is ruining our cultures. Certain things are happening, and we have seen a very sad environment where elderly women are speaking very vulgar language, which we don't even speak at home, you know, because we have children. There are certain things we need to keep away. So those are called community standards. So we've been engaging Facebook, and we are hopeful that Facebook has been very positive. They are coming to Juba here. We are going to sit with them to come up with a community standard. This community standard is where the regulations are. We will agree with them. They also have their own standard, and we as a country have a standard. So we will tell them that, you know, in our country we don't want to see this thing like this, and we will agree, and this will now be applied. But in the absence of this, for the interim time, we've been working very hard using what they call you know, the frontline community to sensitize people. One of the things people don't know, actually one thing you've left, is that many of people's identities are being used to create fake accounts to abuse somebody. And our people, because this is a new technology, we didn't know. So the moment I see your picture, I am convinced that it is you, while in fact it is somebody else.
So do you trace, in case today someone is using my profile photo to manage his account, and I want to look into that person, I want to sue, can I get the full information of whoever is behind that?
All we do as government, we don't infringe on people's identity, people information. As a regulator, we act as a mediator between you, the affected person, and Facebook. So we basically write to Facebook. If it is a criminal case, you go to the police, and there are forensic. Police will order forensic to confirm that, yes, this data is yours, and then we can write to Facebook. We have not been very successful in many cases, but in other cases, we've been successful to recover hack account through third parties. So basically, we don't go and get involved in Facebook operation because it usually margin the infringement of right. You know, those things, people have their own right. And these accounts are not hosted in South Sudan. They are hosted in America, remember. So our role really, and that's why we are asking Facebook, when an incident like that take place, before we reach the US, we need a local office so that we can do. And I engage with Facebook in South Africa and the regional office in Nairobi.
They're coming to Juba.
We are making this arrangement now. When they come, I'm hoping that in the next town hall, representative of Facebook will be with us, and you can ask them directly.
The
why
one
this happened
for next month?
Yes.
Oh, that's
so we
soon.
hope so.
That's
we
good.
have sent them an invitation, and we are optimistic that they will attend and they will help us. Not only that, we are also asking Facebook to come and help us as we prepare to go for election.
What are you doing towards promoting digital inclusivity and digital human rights in South Sudan with your Connecting South Sudan slogan?
When I took over, I have not done anything new. We've only attempted to accelerate what is needed. For all this technology to have meaning, to work, to have good internet, to have cheap internet that our people have been calling on, there is a foundation that needs to be built. And the foundation is connectivity, developing infrastructure, bringing people on board. Our country today has 1,300 towers. That's what is there. And out of that 1,300 towers, about 250 towers are offline. They are not being used. Because either the owners like Vivasel left the country, or Jemtel left the country, or Sudan left the country. For this size of the country and the size of population, we should ideally have more than 50,000 towers. So we are 40,000 short to really have a true connectivity. Every village in our country should have connectivity. That is when now we will talk, why are we promoting connectivity? Because it is a prerequisite. It is the first thing you must have for you to get other services that come with technology. Without connectivity, you cannot discuss about e-government, e-learning, e-medicine, economic inclusivity. You cannot, because it will only be the privilege of those who have found themselves in Juba or a big town. But it takes, for example, people in Raja, or people in Tambura, or people in Pachala or in Nasser. How will they connect? Right now we have telephone in Nasser, they still don't have internet. And
okay, talking,
you would want to involve them.
Yes, talking of
so
towers.
That's why we talk about the slogan of connectivity is that we need to connect our country. If we connect ourselves, then we will now make sure to also enjoy the technology. So we are building the platform. And I tell you that I need 40,000 towers.
And so far?
Okay. So far, we only have 1,000 towers, or even less than that. You can see how far we are. We are not just behind. We are nowhere in comparison. Okay,
in as much as you need so many 40,000 towers, okay, we have seen cases like a few years ago, NCA had a case in Jonglei where an individual smuggled telecom tower as a regulatory body now. How do you ensure the security of telecommunication infrastructure and any challenges related to theft or unauthorized activities?
This challenge is not only in Jonglei, it has happened in many states. And that is why last week we hosted here 13 ministers responsible for ICT from 10 state and 3 administrative areas. We did not only host the 13 ministers, we also brought the director generals, because we know that ministers are being changed constantly. And we wanted to have, the reason we brought these people is for us to be able to coordinate on how to manage these assets and how to accelerate the development of network in the country. Because telecom companies, remember, there's no government operator. What we are doing as NCA, we are trying to coerce the private sector to build by attracting them to the countryside, to tell them, please come, what do you need? They keep saying, oh, we are being double taxed, our equipment are being caught on the road, there's insecurity. Sometimes I have volunteered myself as an assurance to put a political weight. The Director General does not need to be in the field. I should be in the office. But to make a point, to tell them how important it is, and to assure them that their safety is paramount, I go. Sometimes I went up to Buma, in our eastern bank in Pibor State. I went up to Kuren. I went up to Majongnyentio in northern Barakazal. I have gone to places around this country. And the reason I go is basically to give extra assurance to the private sector that, your investment is also adding to our development. And I am not only regulator. My mandate is say that to regulate and promote. So in the process promote, I should do something that attracts more investors, and I do something that also encourages those who have committed their resources. So this is an engagement that I do, and that's why I brought these ministers here. We had a very good discussion. Some at the misunderstanding of their mandate. So first we sensitize each other. What is the mandate of NCA? What are the scopes? Where does my responsibility end? And where does their responsibility begin? And vice versa. So we realized that we did a very good coordination, and I'm sure some of them you might have met with the feedback. As NCA, we were very happy, and we even resolved that we want to conduct this annually, so that each state we review what have we done. Let's prioritize.
Yeah, we saw that one where you brought the state ministers from the 10 state and the 3 administrative areas, plus the mobile operators in the country. So how would this improve poor quality of mobile network in rural areas?
Let's separate the two. Poor quality and the availability of mobile network. First, why we need the people from the rural, from the state, because they are the people on ground. They know best where connectivity is needed most, either for security reason or for economic reason. That is number one. We need them. We cannot parachute from Juba and go and dictate to them, no, we want an aerial here and there. So now what we have done, we brought the service provider and the beneficiaries together. And we now agreed with the MNOs that when you go to a will, for example, sit down with the minister. Okay, we expect the minister to consolidate all the demands, okay, and facilitate those people now to go and see the places which they have a reason why they chose certain village, not the other one. So that's why we did it. Now coming to network quality. Network is highly dependable on infrastructure, on satellites, microwave, or fiber optics. Fiber optic is the best because it carries high volume of data. Microwave is cheaper compared to satellite. Satellite is very expensive and very slow. So most of these things, because they are remote and they are depending on satellite, the quality of communication is very poor because of the volume of data that you can push on satellites. And that's why they resort sometimes to microwave. These are gadgets that relate distance of 50 kilometers. But the best that we would have won is the fiber optic, which we don't have, unfortunately. And
that takes us back to last year in Dubai at the International Telecommunication Union World Radio Communication Conference 2023, approved a resolution allotting South Sudan a satellite space. What would be the immediate benefits to citizens should South Sudan launch its satellite in the space, since we are talking about now satellites?
After we got our independence, we knew our borders with our neighbors. But also in space, we also have a slot for us. So even though by international law we have our space, it was never shown to us because the international required that there are certain prerequisites you have to do. One of them, you have to do the calculations. You have to see that, you know, how big is your place, and you will not interfere with other people, and that you have the intention to use the space economy, which everybody is going to space. We are talking about Starlink and all this. So satellite, no country can do without it, because at the time we need to be self-sufficient in our own communication. So we got the satellite slot, which I think I congratulate our engineers and the leadership before me, among them my minister, my predecessor, Dr. Lado, because they started this process. All I did is to continue from where they left it and conclude it with my engineers. So we got an allotment of satellite space for 2 satellites. One for fixed satellite services. The other one for broadcasting services. Today your SSBC is not being seen across the country, simply because you have to pay rent to somebody else's satellite. So what we are doing is something that significant will be felt maybe in 5 to 10 years down the line. Because our country may not be in the current state all the time. There will be time things will change. And the next generation may decide to launch satellite into space. I don't want them, by the time they are ready, they will be told, no, you don't have a place to put your satellite. So that is why we went for it. It's basically to preserve our slot for future launch of satellites. And I am very confident, maybe not in my time, but my grandchildren will be able to launch a satellite in this country. That's how hopeful I am.
We have seen NCA is doing so many programs, and including the ICT for girls, education building in digital literacy and rural connectivity. So how does this improve digital illiteracy in the country?
Digital literacy requires an investment. It is a multi-sector effort to prepare our children for the next generation. The world is moving to technology. So today, you are determined literates, not just only by writing, but be able to use gadgets. We are working with the Ministry of Education to make input into the curriculum for children to learn about ICT, and for children to be prepared also, because these technologies come with certain consequences. So they know how to protect themselves in cyber security hygiene, so that they are not exploited by those who are digitally literate. So this is what we are addressing. We are partnering with the civil society. That's how the issue of Go Girl came in. One of the UN mandate is a gender parity in the technology world, and that goes together with the science for girls. So the STEAM project is where we come in, and we try to accelerate to encourage young girls to take up science subjects. And I can tell you for a fact that in NCA we have quite a number of very confident engineers, some of them who participated in calculating of the satellite space. They are recognized at the international level, and I'm hoping that in few years we should have more, and praying that I should be replaced by a lady as a DG.
All right, what would be the roles of National Communication Authority before and during elections? Let's get the answer after the break. Hello dear viewer of SSBC, welcome back after that short break. Before we took a short break, I had asked the engineer what would be the role of National Communication Authority before and during elections, and how will it ensure there is free and fair elections with the gadgets?
Elections is a civic affairs. What we are talking about is actually to prepare the country so that there's connectivity. Politicians would want to talk to their constituencies. I would love that election take place where people are able to report by phones. They either report frauds or they are reporting satisfaction, and media can go everywhere and bring live pictures, like what we have seen in the globe.
Yeah.
So in one area, our preparation is within our mandate, making communication available, first of all, sensitizing people. And that's one of the reasons why we are inviting Meta to help also conduct training, even to journalists, conduct training on how you can use social media to weed out misinformation and disinformation, because those are two different things. So this is part of our contribution, even though we've not been asked officially by the country to do a specific assignment, but we feel it is our mandate to prepare and to improve connectivity, because communication is going to be critical for election. So we are talking with operators to say, please try your best with whatever you can, if we can make communication really available, minimum in every county in the country. There should be a telephone communication, first of all, which is the most basic, or possible internet communication, so that should the Electoral Commission, which are the mandate, decide to do something in those states, they will find at least the minimum available standard of infrastructure to support them. On the technology side, our effort would be to sensitize the public to watch out, because election will be just like COVID. You know, when COVID came, there was a lot of misinformation and a lot of people purporting to report, like what you raise on social media. And that's why we're engaging the platform like Meta, and we hope together with the network operators, we will be able to prepare people to watch out for disinformation related to electoral practices. We are inviting colleagues from the region to help us. One of the things we expect, we might be consulted, nobody has talked to us. When you procure those electronics for conducting election, you probably need somebody to certify that those electronics are with integrity. They are standard, they don't have backdoors and all these things. As the agency entrusted by government with the eye of the public in this sector, we expect that Electoral Commission or whoever is doing election will contact us to seek our expertise, and we will be willing to give our expertise impartially, without any biasness, to ensure public safety. This is part of the thing we do, but so far I can tell you for a fact, nobody has reached out to us. Probably maybe it is still at the policy level with my minister. If that come like during the role we played during Pope visit, we will be asked to do things, because we are operations.
But now you are saying it has not reached on your desk.
Yes.
And we know the election is supposed to take place in December. And there was a scenario during Pope's visit, we were literally unprepared because the whole thing was done in a rush. So what can you say at this particular time, maybe to your minister or authorities involved, so that they make sure they reach you before time, so that you have
I cannot talk
time.
to my minister on TV because I have access to him. But I can tell you that if we do things in a rush, maybe we became expert in rushing things. So I am not worried about that. As a civil servant, I work on orders and I work on tasks. So when that task comes, I can tell you that we are prepared to support the country to fulfill a democratic exercise in all ways that possible within our mandates. This, I think, is a very big mandate for all of us. Not only NCA, it's all the government entities. There are things we are requested. And that's why even I push now already. I don't need to wait for directive to tell me that, you know, we need to make minimum telecommunication available in at least every county in South Sudan. At least every county. We may not reach a village, but at least every county before December, so that people can communicate. So this is my target now.
So now you're reaching to the state.
Nobody asked me for that, but this is my target. Without resources, I am just asking the service provider, let's do that. And we are engaging. We hope it will come a time we will engage the government to say, what do you want us to do? There are also concessions to be made. Because since we are not buying, what do we do? Maybe we can give exemption on some equipment so that we can bring them faster and install them in those places quickly.
Okay,
so
you have
we will
talked
wait until election and come.
And it is almost time.
We are ready.
You have talked before about the internet connectivity. So are you going to provide and localize internet infrastructure to enhance speed and reliability? If yes, then how possible is this before election?
We have already started implementing. Last year in 2022, a year ago in 2022, we invested a lot of money to install a device called Internet Exchange Point. You may need to Google that later on at your free time. This is a machine that allowed us to have a local communication, a local internet.
Without data center?
Without having to go abroad. Right now, when you click on internet, your computer literally sends information all the way to Mombasa, to London, and back to you. Because it is happening at a very high speed, you don't realize it, that a trip has been made between your click and when your screen comes. But now that will not be the case. Our website, at least the one of the government now, we are hosting them in Gumbo, and we are trying now to expand that connectivity. All the local internet will be first interconnected. If there are applications that are hosted locally, you don't need to make that traverse. What that does, it reduces the cost of sending things all the way. So we are pushing that before election take place, we are pushing that the cost of internet should come down at least by 60%, the cost of internet. I don't want to make those pledges. That's why I work quietly until we can launch it and people experience it. It is then that we shall come out clearly as a regulator and say, anybody who charge you above this is a scam.
So there is a hope that internet costs will reduce anytime soon before election?
It must reduce.
It must.
Because you are talking to the man who control it.
Yes.
So we made that decision already, and we are building the infrastructure. The problem we have found in our country sometimes, we've been vilified because of our transparency as NCA. When we talk about things, you know, there are people who went after us. And the reason I do that is because this is a public institution, and I would like also to be held accountable. Because if you are, I don't wait only for my minister. Even the public can hold me accountable to say, Mr. Napoleon, you said this and it didn't happen. Why?
Yes, and you are regulated.
And why did you do it? I'm willing to accept where I failed, and I'm willing also to state where I have succeeded. Yeah.
Okay, any plan of prioritizing the improvement of ICT operations and usage across the relevant government institutions and departments as part of rehabilitating communication and enhancing connectivity?
Even though that is beyond our mandate, we regulate and we encourage investor takeover. But we've been making a serious input in restructuring government communications. We are undertaking now projects with the NRA to ensure that government communication are centralized, to ensure that systems are connected within the country. You might have heard of e-services, of which we are board members. It is under the ministry. And through the e-services, many government institutions are digitizing the processes. And we realize that when you digitize those processes, the people will be able, you might be able in the near future to apply for your passport from your home without going to queue in the Office of Immigration. You might be able to file your tax without going to the custom. So these are the things we are working on. We finished with the Minister of Justice. We are part of that. The only thing we are adding is that we have now realized you need a local infrastructure, and we are laying a fiber optic to interconnect government offices in Juba. So first we start with government offices, so that Minister of Finance is connected to NRA. NRA is connected to Central Bank, Minister of Education, and vice versa, so that our ministers can call themselves on landline, not on mobile as they do now. Government around the world are supposed to be secrets. You've seen flood that internet is crowded with the leaked documents.
Yes.
In fact, our government is the most transparent. Every document is leaked, which is not really, it doesn't work like that. There's supposed to be government network. The reason, because our government is running on private.
You have bring another point.
Yeah.
So now that you have seen the important documents for the government are being posted maybe on social media, so what measures have you taken as NCA, the regulatory body?
Well, the measures we are taking now is to ask the government to help us invest in secure communication for government. Every government must have a secure communication. We don't have. Today, all our ministers go around with the phones. How do I discuss decision affecting MTN on MTN line? Ask me. It's not possible. So that's why government needs. So we are working now on developing infrastructure. We have tailored our licensing so that infrastructure is developed. Anybody who lay fiber in this country is always assigning as a core for government communication. So if I am pulling a fiber optic from here to Wow, all the police station on the way should be connected on government line. All the state government supposed to be connected on government line. So this is what we are working on. We have now piloting with Juba. Soon we will be announcing the test. Right now cables have reached many government offices. We're just waiting for equipment. And then we will talk how do we sustain it. Because I am able to align my policy to support government. But there are certain things I can do, but the other one need money. That's where we are engaging now internally to see how do we structure this. Because this will truly mean government e-services. Because e-services mean that instead of you going to immigration, you access immigration from here. But there are rules to it to protect, so that when you are accessing, you are doing it for malicious thing. You need to be protected.
But now let's assume I send a document to your WhatsApp, and then now it is circulated on social media. Are you able to find out as NCA the source, the originator of that document? So
what we are trying to do, first of all, is not about WhatsApp. What we are doing is that WhatsApp does not belong to government. I'm trying to discourage government officials not to send document by WhatsApp. You know, every WhatsApp you send, a copy remain in America. So it doesn't matter how secret. So that document, at the moment it goes on WhatsApp, it ceases to be secret.
Not actually the government, but whoever might be in a position to expose that document could use WhatsApp as a platform.
The fact that it is on your phone and you put it on WhatsApp, you don't own it. It is owned by WhatsApp. A copy of it remains with WhatsApp. This is what we are trying to discourage government. When I tell you we are building a secure network, we are building a government system. Our own children are developing a similar WhatsApp for government to
but I don't think it's the government sharing those documents. Could be an enemy trying to.
I wouldn't say it would be an enemy. It would, first of all, there has to be protocol. How do you share confidential documents? So it doesn't matter whether it is somebody. The fact that you put it on that system to fall in the hand of others is where the mistake is. So we don't want to deal with symptoms. We want to deal with the causes, where the things start from. And this thing start from because there's no communication.
So they are responsible for.
So first we introduce a good communication so that they don't go on WhatsApp.
It's alleged that NCA has been giving the government $5 billion. What clarification can you make about that?
I don't know where you got that figure from.
It's alleged.
What people misinterpret is that as we improve the telecom sector, we generate a lot of business. All those business collect taxes. And that taxes goes to our corpus through NRA. And in the recent press days when people were quoting it, calling it 5, we actually contribute the whole sector. Because the sector that I regulate, when you collect the taxes, we estimate, since last year, in fact it is last year, we estimate an average of 5 billion a month goes to NRA direct, not come to NCA. The only thing we do, we help the NRA to identify it, because communication is an abstract commodity. So if you are a tax person and I send you to go and collect tax from telecommunication, how do you calculate your tax? That's where we get involved using a system called revenue assurance that monitor time and usage and calculation so that we can project and assure NRA to say, okay, you can go to MTN, this month they've made this amount, so you go and collect your tax. So we basically like a witness. So between the taxman and technology companies. And because we streamline this, and thanks to e-tax system and the work of all this digitalization, we were able now to reach. Before, this was not in place. It was people walking to Zain, to all these other guys, demanding money which they don't know how it was calculated. So those companies were paying whatever they want because there's no evidence. Okay, if somebody is paying 20% of what was the 100%? So this is what we do now, and people, when they hear money now in this situation, they feed it in. So that's what we meant 5 billion on average last year. And you can go to NRA, that is the public information. It's not a secret information. It doesn't come to NCA.
Okay.
It's just that it is generated by our licensees that we license. We make sure one of our act, one of our section in the act require that tax compliant. Whoever we deal with, we ask them, please pay tax. There's no shortcuts. And we've been doing that partnership successfully with the NRA. You can go to them, that information is available.
Okay, engineer, you have said before you are working towards the reduction of internet in terms of the cost. And then also with these mobile operators, we have seen whereby you buy Zol Kebir and within 5 minutes you are told to buy another one. Is there something you are also doing towards regulating how they use their tariffs?
Being a regulator is like a traffic police. Because what the traffic police does, first of all, there's no traffic police where there's no road, isn't it? Now, when a traffic police want to determine that car is driving at a certain speed, it must have a speed gun, isn't it? Even though our police did not have a speed gun, they have a stick. But I just want to drive the point to explain to you, as a regulator of telecommunication, there are a lot of tools we don't have in our possession. Parliament has passed the budget and gave us a lot of promote that you should be empowered so that we get more money. One of the things we are lacking is a tool for regulating consumption to protect consumer. So we don't have some of those tools. It is what we have put in the last budget, which did not materialize. A lot of tools are not yet in our possession to be able to regulate effectively. And that's why we could not talk much, because these companies are coming sometimes. Those are called value-added services. We need to make sure that when you buy your bundles, we need to monitor your bundle. You are using it according to the time frame given to you. We don't have those gadgets in our place. But we are engaging them. We tell them, listen, don't scam people. We know these things are there and here. So since then, we embark now in restricting these market bundles that are sold. And we are working in it. We are engaging the MNOs. We hope that we will reach a resolution. Because this is also a consensus thing, because these are private companies. And when they are this is a regulated market, so we are telling them, no, you don't go to the extreme with these things. So one of the things we are discussing and we are considering is that bundles should not expire. Okay, because you bought your airtime, if you switch off your phone, it should not expire. So, but another part also is do with the user sensitization. Many of you have your phone. Your phone is on, is in your pocket, but it is connected to internet. It is talking constantly. It is updating apps. Your friend from social media are sending you those alerts. Those alerts are not coming free. They are using your bundle.
Yeah, but if it is saying,
you need to be sensitized.
But if it is saying it is 5 hours, let it be at least that 5 hours.
Yes, but 5 hours of online or offline.
Online.
If you use it for 5 minutes and you switch off data for 5 minutes, it can take you 5 hours.
And then
but if you leave it on, while it is in your pockets, it can be 5 hours can be used. Because this data is a volume of file.
But when they say it is for 5 hours, they know that you are going to use it for that 5 hours.
I think some of them are marketing. So sometimes you need to ask carefully. And that's why I say we need consumer awareness so that you also know what it is. In telecom, when somebody tells you 5 hours, you can use it up in 1 minute. Because 5 hours is a file size in our language.
Okay.
When I tell you 1 hour, it can be an audio. So if you get an audio music, which is like 300 Mbps, so you can use it up depending on the speed.
Okay.
So some of that required, we have asked the service providers to sensitize consumers, and we've been asking them, please don't exploit people, educate them, tell them, so that this complaint don't even how to use their data.
Okay.
One thing I want to tell the public and also tell you, when you finish using your phone, you should switch off data.
Okay.
Turn it on only when you want to use your internet. But as long as it is on your phone is still being used. Your phone itself still using it to do other things that you didn't authorize.
Okay, just even before the government give you go ahead, so do you have any plan of creating a digital platform for education on the electoral processes and the efforts to spread messages of peace campaign in the country, even if you have not been given the go ahead?
We cannot go, that is not our mandate. It is a mandate of Electoral Commission. When they come to seek our help, we will be willing to share our expertise. It is very important because elections are a very sensitive issue. Our country will be divided up between parties, ideologies, and all that stuff. So nobody, if I do education, what would I tell people? The best I can tell you is that just use your internet properly. But it is a mandate of the Electoral Commission. We cannot get involved, but if we are asked to support the Electoral Commission, we will be happy to do that.
Okay, what do you say about the Starlink company that you unauthorized the operation recently?
First, Starlink is a satellite service provider. And as I told you in the beginning of this talk show, that as we have geographical maps on land, we also have geographical maps in space. So when you come to my territory, like the way you crossed our territory in Numili or in Reng, you need permission, isn't it? So what we are asking these satellite services, we are saying, listen, you can't just enter into our space. We know we need you, but there are regulations you have to follow. You need to register, have an office here, so that those who buy your services, in case it fails, who do they call? They have to call America?
Yeah.
You will come back to me later and you say, listen, they sold me 5 hours and it will finish in 30 minutes. How do I answer? I will tell you, oh, sorry, they are in America. So that's why I'm asking them. We are engaging with Starlink. We made progress, significant progress. We are asking them 2 things. First, appoint an agent, local agent. Okay, a local agent could be you, could be anybody. Okay, as government now, we will put our regulatory compliance, what we require from you. Number 1, who is using it? Number 2, are you paying tax? Number 3, if there is an abuse, will you be able to control it? That's all I need. We also need money. Because remember, Starlink is not free. You are paying money to the American. So if you are sending money to American, we want our tax to increase our salary here in the country. Goes to NRA. So that is why we ask them. So it is not that we are banning them. We are just telling that whoever want to use Starlink, we are still engaging with Starlink. And because of the demand, we are even pushing. And hopefully soon Starlink will get back to us to nominate one of the competent business. Because they also have, you have to meet requirement on their side for them to bring the stock here. Right now, people are importing Starlink illegally, setting it up. And I would like to use this platform. If anybody is using Starlink, you are breaking the law because we have not authorized. And I think we might have to issue penalties and the police to seize so that they can get money from those people. Until we legalize it, then you can use it. We have no problem. Right now, anybody using Starlink in our land is illegal. You are violating our airspace. You are entering our country without due process.
So they should stop from today onwards?
Yes, they should stop. We are working with the Starlink to find a way to formalize their operation. Humanitarian agencies have come. And for a country that is that need connectivity, it would sound as if we are contradicting ourselves. One hand, we need cheap internet, and the other hand, I'm stopping cheap internet. No, I'm not. I actually wanted to formalize so that our people can benefit, so that we are not exploited again.
Okay, what are some of the challenges faced by the National Communication Authority as you provide communication services within the states?
We are, number 1, Taban, we have no money. We are looking for money so that we can increase our activities at the state level to bring service closer to the people. This is our major issue. The other one is interference. basically people don't know the mandates, and often people go into things that we have people even here who have authorized importation of Starlink, importation of satellites, giving license locally. Those are some of the things we have, but we are now decided to engage stakeholders. We are talking to the security sector, we are talking to the economic sector, we are talking to the state to address those. But major thing is lack of resources. Our country is in acute need of connectivity. Our people, I have traveled most states of South Sudan, and what I have found there, our people need badly the basic communication is a right. Economic inclusivity you are talking about, if today we have mobile phone in Raja, they could benefit from mobile money. You will be able to send money. So really, telecommunication is a baseline for economic growth, even for entrepreneurship. People have goods. We have road now reaching Bor. So imagine you have the roads and they have something to sell. You can now be able to communicate and order that. So our country needs connectivity. We cannot enjoy technology. The reason you are being scammed is because connectivity is very small.
All right, Engineer, we have come to an end of our interview. Any message that you have to these South Sudanese who are misusing social media once more?
Well, I don't want to sound like a policeman, but it is coming to an end. When the Facebook is coming here, I don't want to break the surprise. Facebook representatives are coming here, and I would hope you will be able to put them on platform and ask them. We are saying that let's not misuse it. It is a place where you cannot hide to send out misinformation. So even Facebook themselves don't allow disinformation. We are working with them to make sure that we use it responsibly for our children to learn, not to cause inflicting conflict the way we have seen it. We are also addressing that with the social media platform. We are one, we agreed on standard. One thing we will do also in the standard, by the way, I didn't tell you, they will require people to translate. So even if you issue abuses in Dinka or in any other language, they will be translated to fit the standard, and AI will be able to translate your language and determine that what you are saying is not acceptable. It is a misinformation or hate speech, and it will be deleted.
Okay, talking of that misinformation, how will NCA facilitate communication between voters and electoral commission? Will you create election onlines to report cases of cybercrime?
We will not do that. It will belong to
electoral.
We will support electoral commission. If they come to us and say support us, we will create.
If
because
not,
we don't want to break the law.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, dear viewer of SSBC, that brings us to the end of our interview today. We were hosting the Director General of National Communication Authority, Engineer Napoleon Adok Gai, who has been telling us the roles of National Communication Authority in the country. And to your surprise, Facebook team is coming to South Sudan. Bye-bye for now. We are done.